chapter, the first 2 sections in this chapter. You guys have your books, or do I? Because one of Sandra was driving, so I had to read it out loud last time. Do you guys have your books?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know you've read it before. Are you familiar with chapter 8, page 239, the section Journal Your Journey, so you can tell your story once you've made it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I do.
I know. Have you guys read this section recently?
No.
Okay, you have to listen
Recently, yeah.
If it
I have missed the last 2 weeks too.
Okay, well, we just working through slowly. So if you are offended by people reading to you, you can mute me now. And I'm going to talk loud because Jeff says I talk really loud when I project, and you can turn me down, but you can't turn me up if I don't talk loud enough. One thing I wish I did more than I had is journaling everything that I experienced along the way. I had so many ups and downs, cheers and cries, wins and defeats. I just wish I created a diary that I could open up to the world and let you see what it took for me to grow this business and in life. If I could show you pictures or video footage of me when I first entered network marketing, and then show you the same footage every 3 years, you would be amazed. We can never really see our own metamorphosis as the days tick by. But in hindsight, the lessons I learned seem to all blend together and only a few stand out. But they all have combined into the recipe that has made me a very humbly successful person. I can see certain things now as I pause my life to sit and reflect in order to write this book for you. And going forward, it is my intent to be even more present and fully take in every experience that life leads me into. I will savor those personal conversations and connections with my team members. I will write down the lessons I learned from specific defeats as I encounter them. Go ahead with your career in network marketing, journaling every experience, so that when your time comes to write a book about how you built a team even bigger than mine, the book will almost be written. Take lots of pictures, shoot videos, document it all. Live your life like it's a movie with your favorite soundtrack playing in the background. You are the star and your teammates are the co-stars. Take the lead role and nail it. Okay, first up on the spot is Davina. What's your first thoughts going through that?
I guess I agree with it. I'm not much of a journaler though, but I know I probably need to be better at it, but I'm not.
Do you do any journaling of any kind? Or do you do any journaling or diary or anything like that? Scrapbook?
Not for business. For my personal, for spiritual, I do. Like when I do prophetic intercession and stuff, I do a lot of it during that time, but just for general or business, no, I don't.
Okay. All right. Do you think after reading that, listening to that, does that make you want to change anything or do anything different?
I'll think about it. I know that I probably need to do more journaling.
Yeah, but I don't want to do the I should and I gotta and I would.
Yeah, no. I don't know.
Okay, so also these are the same 3 questions I'm going to ask everybody. So this is not putting you on the spot. Was there anything in there that you feel like I have a different view of that, or I don't really agree with that, or I think of that differently in that section? Okay.
No, I mean, I'm okay with what he thinks. I mean, I agree with him in some aspects. It's just not something that I've ever felt like was for me.
I get it. I totally get it. And like I said, these are the same 3 questions. So Heather, on this section, what do you think and how do you feel about that first section about journaling?
I really like the idea. In different projects that I've done over the years, I've sporadically been a decent journalist, a journaler about it. It is kind of cool to look back, but it's not. To me, I've tried, like with homeschooling. I've tried to instead of when the kids were younger, instead of planning the day, I would try to just journal what the day happened, and that worked for about a week, and then I just pooped out because I got tired and I got distracted. And so it's the same kind of thing with the business journal. I think it would be really cool to be able to look back and be like, oh my goodness. And I know just mentally, that in the last 6 months going through this process, I know I've really made some big strides. And it would be really nice that if I had written it down, but
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I know it's a cliche, but I love it. And usually things are cliches because they're so true. Network marketing is a personal development course with a paycheck attached.
yes,
Yeah.
waiting for the paycheck.
Waiting for the paycheck, still waiting for it. Got some good news for y'all at the end of this about that. Okay, so do you feel after reading that or listening to that, do you feel like you're going to try to do anything different going forward? Does that make any changes for you?
Well, kind of like Davina said, I need to orchestrate that and ponder it. Again, I like the idea of it.
But
Being
does it feel like one
disciplined,
more chore to do?
it does. It does. I feel like my plate's already super full,
Yeah.
and I don't know that I would take the time to be disciplined about it, but it's a
Okay,
nice
is there
journey.
anything in there that I read that you have a different spin on, or that you disagree with, or that you want to share with the
No.
class?
No, not really. I mean, I think one of the things that popped out is that I've highlighted here is that to take lots of pictures and document it all. I've actually gotten much better at that process using with what I've had to do with Facebook. In fact, I look back at old posts and I'm like, oh gosh, there's no picture with that. What was I thinking? You know,
I mean,
that's
that's
so
one of the
blah.
best things Facebook does is that memories feature. I love it. And you know, Google Photos is now doing that. When you log into
Yes,
Google Photos, it'll
Mhm.
pop up. These are all the pictures you loaded a year. Isn't that cool? I just love that. Yeah.
it is
Well, and
very
that's what I
cool.
was, yeah, and that's what I was going to say about, the more I think about it, I mean, Facebook is my journal.
Hmm.
And see, and
'Cause that
that's
journal,
my daughter-in-law says the same thing. But what I keep reminding her is every single day I hear of people losing their Facebook accounts.
yeah, that's
So
true. I mean,
what
it
I've
is,
been
but
doing, what I've been doing is as those memories come up, downloading those videos that I never realized I should have downloaded before.
yeah.
Saving those pictures that
Ah.
I'm not sure if I have a copy. So it's just as you go through your memories each day, just grab them.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, because that's what I do is something comes to my mind, I'll put it on Facebook.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, I mean, that's just what I do, and so it's like,
So that is a type of journal. And a couple of us on the meeting earlier were talking about how I take so many pictures and I annoy my family because that's my memory. Because
right,
you ask me about going, oh, like I've never been there, and my husband will look at me and go, yeah, we were there, and then he'll show me a picture. I'll be like, oh yeah, we were there and we did this. And pictures, yeah. I'm really scared because no one will ever know if I have Alzheimer's because it'll just be like she's just more happy than she usually is, whatever. So yeah, I joke, when I said when I was younger and you miss a word or you're like, oh, just a brain fart. Now you're like, it's going. Yeah. All right, Miss Vicki, what do you think about? You're a big journaler, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm already kind of on that track. So,
How do you journal? What do you use or do?
well, I generally don't journal daily. Just,
When you feel like it?
yeah, when I feel like it, or if I'm listening to something and it, something resonates with me, then I can start journaling and I'll write like 2 pages or 3 pages or something, my business is my personal, so my journal is my business and personal combined together.
Yeah.
And I do also, some of my Facebook posts tend to be journal. And I don't intend them to be that way, but then all of a sudden I realize
This
they're
training
super,
I'm taking, take them along with you on the journey. Yeah.
yeah. And I'll try to warn people like, all right, this one turned into a book.
It's like my Facebook Live the other day. Okay, if you're a man, you may want to tune out because we're talking about hormones today. If you're not interested in the change, please don't watch this video. Okay, so after all of us chiming in, and after this, is there anything that you think you can take out of this segment that you will use going forward?
I try to be, when I do journal, I do keep in mind that it could be something that could turn into a blog post or something. And if it's something I feel that way, I kind of mark the page, I'll fold the page down. But I try to be like general when I write it. It's not like
You mean a general topic or general so people don't recognize
general,
themselves?
like I kind of speak more in generalization so that so it is kind of written up like it could be turned into a book someday. So who knows?
See, okay, all right. I thought you were trying to spare everybody's feelings.
Well, and that too. So, but I try to generalize. But you know what? Generalizing things helps me work through things sometimes too, because I can see things more at a overview other than being right down in it.
Interpersonal, yeah, that's interesting. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Anything that he said or that you heard me read that you would be like, I have a different take on that, or?
No, not really. And and when you started talking about, go ahead with your career in journaling, it made me smile when you read it, because I know I'm on the right track. So
I love it. Okay. So early, you guys are lucky that you're not. Go ahead.
I do have issues with taking the lead though. I just don't like, or being the star or whatever. I would rather be a team player.
How about if you're the director?
Yes, I could be the director.
When I go into this, the sentence that I saved and underlined, that's my takeaway, is live your life like it's a movie with your favorite soundtrack playing in the background. You are the star and your teammates / family are the co-stars. So we're all stars together, Vicki. We're all a team. Take the lead spot and nail it. And I also think about it as taking the director spot, because I know for many years, I felt like I just kind of flowed along the ocean of my life and just let things happen. And I was very proud of the fact that I was, just going with the flow and learning to adapt. And now I feel like I'm more, okay, I know what I want now, and I know the direction I want to go. And I know some things I don't want to do along the way. So I'm going to take the direct. Now, God is in charge of when the movie starts, when it ends, okay? And a lot of stuff in between. But I'm the director, and I'm going to direct my life instead of letting it happen to me. So maybe that's a more comfortable.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Anyway. Okay.
No, it is more comfortable. I could be director.
It's more like I said, it to me, the director thing is more like taking charge of your life. And I'm not trying to denigrate the fact that I do believe and I want God to be in charge of my life. I don't want to take that role. But as far as not just letting things happen, but taking a charge as in I want to go this way and I'm going to make steps to go that way. I think that's what I mean by director. Also, I started to say, I think you guys are lucky you're not the first group, because I always get ideas from them and then I can bring it to you. And I can't take your ideas back to them because I forget them. So Sandra Nardoni was on the earlier one, and she offered a couple of ideas that I thought were really good. She said, somebody was talking about how they take a lot of pictures like I do, but then the pictures just sit there. And she said one of the things that she does is at the end of every trip she takes or adventure she does, or whatever, like her kids were working on a senior project play, okay? And she's taking a lot of pictures of them building the sets and all that. And she takes those pictures, and on her iPhone, on the iMovie app, she makes a quick video. And she said they have templates in there. And you can just pick pictures and drop them into that template and make a movie of that segment of your life. And she said it has been so helpful for her to keep track of things. So I thought it was kind of cool. Then she mentioned the Cozy calendar. I don't know if any of you have heard of Cozy, C-O-Z-I, but I use Google Calendar, and I have one that's my work calendar. I have a Google Calendar that is my husband and I's calendar. I have a Google Calendar with Ray and I and our events together. So I like that one. But Cozy Calendar, evidently it's free unless you want special things, and then it's $25 for the year, which sounds pretty cheap to me. But it's designed to be shared by a family. So it's designed to be a calendar that multiple people can input their schedules in, okay? She said it generates things like grocery lists and appointment reminders and helps you organize. So if you're struggling with organization in a group or a family, that might be something to look into. So that was our ideas for there. Okay, anything else on that topic before we go on to the next one, Davina?
No, I'm just looking excited to taking some prep so I can start taking photos and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Let's take some. I know. Let's get me out of here.
No.
Are the
I'm
rest of
supposed
you watching Levanton going? Yeah. Guess what? I got us an invite to the Dominican Republic to a brand new resort in November. Who wants to go?
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, for our team. No villas there, so we can't all stay together. But yeah, I'll share the details. Okay, so anyway, anything else on journaling and keeping track of things, Heather? Nope.
No.
Vicki?
Well, and another thing that I do with my journals is like on certain anniversary dates, like on the day my husband passed away, and I'll use that day I'll do a lot of journaling, and I'll use that day to kind of like go over my business and, you know, like
Change from last year.
look over, you know, what I wrote last year, you know, like not really, well, maybe goals, there you go, you know, putting things out there that I wanted to accomplish. But a lot of the times I find that like 75% of what I wrote down the year before are things I'm not even doing anymore.
Because I lost interest in that. It's not a goal anymore. I get you. I forgot one more.
I see what carries forward, though. I see what
Well,
carries
see, that's what I like. Well, you know, I told you guys about this bullet journal that I use that I really like.
Yeah.
And so you write down the things to do. And if you don't get them done, you start the next day and you draw an arrow. I moved it forward. He says, anything that you move forward more than 3 times, you need to really re-examine about whether you need to do that. Because obviously you don't want to do it. So is it really necessary? And then if it is, make yourself do it. And if it's not, you know, if it is, eat the frog. And if it's not, then give up. I'm not going to do that. I choose not to do that. Another thing that I forgot to tell you about the cozy calendar thing, and that's what made the Gmail calendar work the same thing. Sandra says what she loves to do is at the end of the year is to go back through her calendar. She said, look at the appointments, look at the thing. And I thought, you know what, that would be really good at telling you if you're sticking with your priorities. People used to say, I remember a sermon once where they said, if you tell me that you think you put God first and then you put your family second, hand me your checkbook and I'll tell you if you're living the way you say you want to. So if you say that you want your family to be number 1 priority in your time, what's your calendar say? You know, what does your calendar say? What does your checkbook say? Okay, that was just my sermon for the day.
that would mean you'd have to go back and make sure that you're marking everything.
You faded off in the last of that. That would mean that you have to make sure what?
You're marking everything completed.
Yeah.
One more task, and I'm just like, no.
Well, I know I have these tasks that I set up to go on forever, like morning routine at the end of the year, I'm like, do I really want to keep doing that every, yeah. Okay. The next section that we covered in the other one was called Be Like an Ant. And I thought, when I read that, I was like, I don't want to be an ant. Have you ever watched ants? The little bugs are rather admirable. They have the ability to target exactly where they're going, and they find a way to get there. You can see them walk in a line towards their goal. But if you place a block between them and the goal, do they decide that this obstacle is too large to overcome and turn back? No. It doesn't matter what you do to block their path, they will find a way. They will go over, under, or around until they accomplish their mission. Ants are relentless and unstoppable. That's the way networkers have to be. Pick your goal and then be like an ant. Determination is the common characteristic of all 7-figure earners in network marketing. Don't let the fake stories of luck fool you. Every millionaire got there with dedicated work ethic. They put blinders on and kept their heads down and moved forward. Ants don't seem to get upset when you try to block their path. They don't even slow down. They just keep charging on until they succeed. So can you. Develop an ant mentality. Nothing is going to stop you. We'll start with Vicki this time. What do you think?
Team Relentless.
I saw that too. And there's another book she's recommended called Unstoppable. And I was like,
yeah, just there's a reason right there to go through your notes, because sometimes I'll write an idea down for a project and then you get working on something else and you forget about it, and
Yep.
going back and rereading, it's like, oh yeah, I wanted to do that.
That was a great idea. I really wanted that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I never thought I'd want to be compared to an ant, but now I want to buy a toy ant somewhere and put it on my vision board. Speaking of vision boards, that is also a way of journaling, I think, for you.
Oh.
Because your
Yes.
vision board changes. I mean, I know Vicki redoes hers every year. Some people redo them more often. Exactly.
Yay.
So, I think vision boards are a way of journaling. So, Vicki, is there anything in there that you think you have a different spin on, or you would do differently, or you're not sure you totally agree with?
No, I think it makes sense.
So I can call you an ant, and you'll be
Yeah.
okay.
I'll be an ant.
All right, you can be my aunt. Except no fire ants. I grew up in Florida, and I absolutely abhor. I'm trying really hard not to say the word hate anymore. It's amazing how many times I say the word hate, and I'm like, get rid of that word. So, but I really do abhor fire ants. And if you've never lived where they are,
Yeah, and you just got to remember not to get upset when your path is blocked, and that you either decide like, okay, maybe that block was meant to be there, and
that, sometimes that's exactly some of these inventors. When I read these inventor stories or these success people stories, they run into something and they find a way around it. And while they're finding the way around it, they find a better way. They're like, whoa, this works even better,
Mhm. Yeah.
All right, Miss Heather, what do you think? Can I call you an ant too?
Sure, definitely. Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest things about people that have their own businesses and are very entrepreneurial. And I've watched that happen over and over and over again. And I know that I think both of you guys do some Amazon stuff or some eBay stuff.
Yeah.
And it always cracks me up when some new big thing happens and it separates kind of the boys from the men, right? The boys are like, oh no, we have to stop selling on eBay. Oh my gosh. And the men are like, we'll just find a way around that. We'll circumvent that rule. It won't be a problem. And yeah, then all this other stuff starts popping up, and it's amazing. But the determination is so important, just to not
I think
falter.
it's proven success to a large degree, not completely. I mean, there are lottery winners among us, but they are very rare, and they usually do not end well, if you've noticed.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd like to try it.
yeah.
I'm not saying I wouldn't, but yeah, it doesn't usually end well. Anything that you would say differently than he had it, or anything specific that stuck out to you in that section, Heather?
I just liked the idea of the unstoppable and the block. You can go around it, but if you watch ants, a lot of times they go over it.
Yes. Yeah. Or they get a bunch of them together and they move it out of the way. I mean, I've seen that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, what freaks me out is seeing them carry stuff, not the fire ants, the bigger ants. The stuff they carry it'd be like me carrying one of those statues they're knocking down on my back, Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, Davina, what do you think about Be Like an Ant?
Well, I think it's interesting. I've always enjoyed watching ants, and I love it when they pour something in their ant holes and they dig it up and you see all the intricacies that they did. You're like, seriously, ants and bees are like, because they have a tenacity that, that is so strong. But Proverbs 6:6-8 tells you, it says,
go ahead.
It says, go to the ant, O sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. Without having any chief, officer, or ruler, she prepares her bread in summer and gathers her food in harvest, which is what we're doing as network marketers. We're preparing our food now so we can reap the harvest down the way while we watch everybody else. You know what I mean?
What was that? Proverbs 6 what?
6-8.
Proverbs 6:6-8. Thank you. Yeah, I love Proverbs. Proverbs, yeah, okay. I'll get sidetracked. That's awesome. Have any of you ever had an ant farm? Okay, you know what they look for, like, right? Between the two sheets.
Yeah.
What?
I've had ants in my kitchen.
That doesn't make sense. Wendy, have you ever had an ant farm? None of these people have ever had an ant farm. Okay.
We had one at preschool.
Okay, so you know what they look like, right?
Yeah.
So when my boys were little, we had an ant farm. Okay. And one night, and it was really intricate. It was really cool. I mean, they had tunnels. It was like a little city in there, tunnels all over. They had segregated this little special place over here where they had put all their food they were saving. And then this place over here, it looked like they were doing eggs or something. I don't know. And it was all over the place. Very, very organized. The boys loved it. So one night as I'm putting them to bed, Mama knocks it over.
That's why I've never had an ant farm.
Yeah. So we lost about 10 or 15 ants. Mama grabbed the thing and put it together. The boys were, just devastated. Mother had ruined their ant farm. And I was like, boys, we live in Florida. Tomorrow morning, I'll take you outside and we'll get some more ants. It'll be okay. I put the thing back together. Only about 10 ants had fallen out. And it was all their tunnels were gone. It was just a big blob of sand, right? Set it back up. And I said, boys, go to sleep before I hurt you. And in the morning, Mama was done. In the morning, we'll go outside and we will go get more ants and fix it all. Okay, Mommy, but they're special ants. They're sugar ants. Okay, we'll order some more ants, whatever. So the next morning we get up and I go in, they come in to wake me up. Mommy, come see the ant farm. Because of course, they never let you wake them up at that age. That's when they're 13 and 14. So that I go out there with the ant farm, almost every single one of the tunnels was rebuilt. I mean, they had the place for the food. They didn't have any food in it. And they had whatever that other place was, but almost every single one was done just overnight. It was amazing. I was like, whoa. The boys were like, Mommy, look what God did. I said, yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, so ants don't give up. And I think that's the major lesson. I was listening to lots of things between this week and last week. And one of the things I really liked was the gentleman got up and he was announcing himself, telling who he was. And he said, my name is Mike Smith and I'm a seven-year overnight success.
Nice.
Think about that, because when you do hit that success, sometimes people look on the outside and they're like, she had it so easy. It just happened to her. And they don't see the glory. Mr. Bradley is always talking about, so no one can appreciate your glory until they know your story.
That's good.
Yeah, I like that. So anyway, that's my take on it. And I love the part where it says, develop an ant mentality. Nothing is going to stop you. And that's what I took from there. Okay, so did everybody get to talk about ants? Vicki, you didn't talk about ants. What do you think about ants?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Didn't
okay. I get sidetracked.
I think I did.
Okay. Wendy says she can't get logged out of Brian's account. If you want to talk, girl, just unmute. If not, we'll keep going.
I think you started with me first.
Oh, that's why I went backwards and totally confused myself. Heather, did you talk about ants?
Oh, yeah.
So that's there's Wendy. Hey, Wendy, what do you think about journaling?
I think it's good. I've tried numerous times over the years to journal, and I get a page or two into it, and I'm done.
Well, you missed all of our tips because you missed it. So we're basically the same way. And in my opinion, nobody in this group needs another chore to do every day. So we talked about different ways that we actually are journaling and maybe being a little more intentional with it. One of the ways that Sandra Nardoni mentioned was the calendars. Hello, Kitty.
Yes.
About the fact that she says at the end of the year, she loves to look back at her calendar and see what she's done that year. Also, that might be something you're interested in. She uses a thing called a cozy calendar, C-O-Z-Y. It's a lot like Google Calendar, but it's designed for families to coordinate different schedules. So it's for multiple inputs. Like Brian puts in his work schedule, you put in the homeschooling, the kids can put in their activities. It's like a family calendar. She
That's cool.
Loves it. It's free. There's a premium version that's $25 a year. But she said that it has really helped their family organize. So it's C-O-Z-Y. If you want information, I would just ask Sandra. But she talked about calendars and how that's sort of a journal. I talked to Vicki about how I think her vision boards are almost a journal because she looks at them, every year different. And then Davina and Heather were talking, all of us actually, about the Facebook memories and how that's almost a journal. And now, I don't know if you have Google Photos on your phone, but Google Photos is now doing that. It's popping up and say, these are your pictures for July 15th, 2019.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah. So Anyway, lots of different ways to journal. My daughter-in-law used to have a notepad in her phone that she would put in what she called Bradenisms. Because my grandson Braden, who just turned 12, I think that's right, he is just one of those kids that says the most amazing things. I mean, funny or irreverent or just hilarious or just really odd. So she said one of these days she's going to print a book called Bradenisms. So she's got like this whole list of him saying just crazy things like, so notebooks in your phone. One of the ladies on the earlier call talked about how voice to text has saved her. That she can use the voice and just talk into it. Something, oh, I want to remember that. And she'll just talk into the phone and it gives her a note. So lots of different ways to do that.
Well, I just got an Alexa, one of those, I got a free little Alexa thingy. Yeah. And so it's got my calendar on there. And so that's like craving me because she's like 10 minutes before something she'll tell me. And then 5 minutes before she'll remind me. And I'm like, thank you, because I don't always get the Google notifications or, I don't always have my phone on silent. So I'm liking it.
Awesome. I love it. So Wendy, did you hear our discussion about the ants?
Oh, I didn't hear that part. I came right on at the very end.
Oh, you're fine. Ray asked us to read this chapter, and I thought she only asked us to read the first 2 sections. So we were just talking about his ideas on journaling and his ideas on being like an ant. Then there's some more sections she's going to have to cover next week because I thought they were for next week. But basically, he's talking about how ants are relentless and unstoppable, and that's how you have to be as a network marketer. To just, when the obstacle comes, you don't quit. You go up, over, around, or underneath in an ant scale.
Figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out. Absolutely. So who would like some good news about IntelliTravel? Yeah. Okay, so all that travel that got postponed, rescheduled, and all that, some of the vendors, but a lot of the cruise lines were saying that they were going to protect our commissions, right? And I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I was kind of like, believe it when I see it, right? Yeah, that's a nice thought. I don't see how they can afford to do that. We'll see what happens. So today on IntelliTravel Payday, I expected to get nothing, and I expected my husband to get about $25 on overrides that he's been collecting, because they only send it out when it's $25. Overrides are usually $1.50, $2.65, something like that. His had been slowly adding up. I figured he had a payment due about $25. So I was going through my email this morning, and I got an email from IntelliTravel saying you've received a payment from IntelliTravel for $550. What? What? Extra money? Yeah. So I went to see what it was, because I'm like, I have not been booking travel and everything's canceled. What in the world? Well, my couple that booked a cruise for March, this past March, that had to reschedule. For them, they were booked for a 5-day northeastern Canada cruise in an interior cabin. That's been rescheduled twice, and because of Royal Caribbean giving them, or Norwegian giving them the 25% each time, they're now booked for a 7-day Caribbean cruise in a balcony cabin.
Oh.
For the same price. I mean, I think it cost them another $150. That's it. So for them, it worked out really well. For me, I thought, we'll see. I got paid for their cruise. It got canceled.
Nice.
Then that was half of it. You guys remember the girls cruise that I do every February, right? Well, just a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, Carnival came out and they had rearranged the whole schedule. And so our cruise got canceled. I just got paid for it.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And everybody's going to get their money back, either a refund or move forward, with a bonus, I'm sure. But, I was, and everybody's asking me, are you going to reschedule? I'm like, yeah, but I just can't really get my head around it right now. And then I got paid for it. And that was a future, that's not supposed to cruise until next February. Okay. So like 7 months from now, it was supposed to cruise. It got canceled and they paid me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So is it IntelliTravel paying you, or
No,
was it actual
it's Carnival and Norwegian.
Okay, because that's what I was saying. Because I had 5 cruises that were canceled, and so far I've gotten commission. Today I ended up getting commission on the last 3.
Oh, you should have. See, I wasn't sure I believed it. I mean, I didn't think they were lying, the cruise lines, but I also know that some of them may not survive this. This is really bad for them. And so in my head, I couldn't figure out how in the world they could afford to pay double and triple commissions on cruises. I was like, that doesn't make business sense. But they're doing it. So that was my good news for you today.
Well, and they might be thinking it doesn't make business sense not to do it, because especially when you got companies like IntelliTravel and stuff that are bringing millions of dollars through them.
Absolutely. I know these companies, and I know every decision comes down to dollars and cents. I totally get that. I'm okay with that. I'm a capitalist pig. I gotcha. So obviously they ran the numbers and figured it out, that this makes sense for them, but I'm really astonished that they did.
You not think on the other side of it though, because did you watch, I shared it on my page where Ferraro was on Fox, I think, or one of the news channels, and they did an interview with him.
Oh, I'd love to see that. I don't think I saw that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I found it through somebody else. Cindy Brumage, I think, is the one that shared it, and I shared it on mine. But yeah, he was talking about, like in the last 3 months, how IntelliTravel had did 40 million plus, and he said that's a 300 spike this year than it was last year for the cruise lines. So they're making 3 times this year than they were last year off of this COVID stuff. So that might be where the money's coming from. I mean,
that's very possible.
but
I mean, they spent so much though getting all their crew members home, private planes, all that crap. Anyway, whatever. And thank you for saying that's where that number came from, because I know that number's been going around, but I wasn't really sure where it came from. That's pretty amazing. And Carnival is saying that they're saying 200%, that their reservations are up 200% year over year. So
he said 300%. So
yeah, well, that may be all the cruise lines together.
Right.
This was specifically Carnival that I thought 200% quote, but it's it is what it is. And I'm also I had hoped that this in the long run, that this pandemic would be good for travel agents for a couple of reasons. One is all the people that didn't get their money back because they didn't have an agent, didn't know how to deal with it, never figured it out. Number 2 is that people are also more concerned / fearful about travel, and so they want up to the minute advice. So I had hoped that was going to be the way it was, and I'm seeing signs of that. I'm seeing more and more people saying they want professional help with their vacations, that they because they can research and Google, but number 1, do they want to spend that time? Because people are busy. And number 2, with all of the pushback about fake news and media being manipulated, do they trust what they're able to find versus someone who says, yes, my friend is down there now and she said this is what happened. So I think long term that this may be good for our profession, but we're definitely in for a couple of years where the numbers are going to be down overall. The cruise lines I read, the last report was they figure 3 years before we get back to the number of people cruising pre-COVID. So, and cruising has started again in Europe. In fact, Carnival owns a line, Asta something in Germany, that just started cruising the German coast. There's another one that's taking off that's going to be cruising the European area.
Well, do you not think also by looking at this that the international travel is going to increase significantly because they're opening their borders way before the States are? I mean, New Mexico shut down again. We're completely shut down again in New Mexico.
No, you mean your state?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said this country of Mexico, and I'm like,
no, New Mexico shut down. So I'm thinking that's going to push people that if they're going to travel, they're not going to be able to travel in the States.
Well, but it's going to be dependent on when Europe and the rest of them allow Americans in, because right now Europe says no. So it depends. I mean, it's one of those, it depends. We just have to watch it every day. I'm booking a honeymoon to Jamaica, and I'm telling them, look, I can tell you exactly what it's like to go to Jamaica today, but you're going in September. I have no idea. Nobody has any idea. So all I can do is keep you up to date. And this resort that I booked before, they're like, no, you have 60 days before you come here, you forfeit all your money if you cancel. Now, 24 hours notice.
Wow.
They can book now, and they can, within 24 hours of their reservation, cancel it and get all their money back. That's how desperate they are. Lavanda is down in the Dominican Republic. That resort is telling all of those agents, we'll give your clients anything they want for 50 to 50% off in the villas and 40% off in the rooms. They need people to come. And Lavanda said, and even at 50% off, we're not paying anywhere near that. So the agent rates are even better. So personally, this may be very good for our own personal travel, to be able to travel more for a lot less, because I think the fam trips are going to be really big coming up. We may have a lot more people because, like you're pointing out, Davina, as Mr. Bradley calls it, the caged birds have been caged for 3 or 4 months, and once it opens. I also feel like people are going to take travel less for granted, because Americans were getting very, very used to international global travel, and it was taken away like that. So I think that when it opens back up, I think people will be traveling more intentionally.
Well, and that's kind of what I've been putting out there. You know, when people say something to me, it's like, oh, yeah, I don't get to travel much. I'm like, yeah, that's how I was. But don't you think this is a good time to change that philosophy and start putting more emphasis on getting out and traveling, and less, you know, and just trying to put a thought in their head, you know, don't have the regrets of, I wished I would have traveled, do it.
Most of the people, what's the saying about, or the article that I read about the rich people dying, none of them talk about things they wish they had done to make more money. All of them talked about experiences they wish they had gone ahead and done. And a lot of them waited until their physical health wouldn't allow it. So I hear people talking about, I'm going to retire and travel. Yeah, no, travel.
Do it, yeah.
Okay, anyway, I think, like I said, I think if we hang on, that we're in for a big upswing. And I think it's already started. But it's going to be different.
Yeah, right before this started, Kyra and Jeremy did a live on the Gold Builders page.
Oh, good.
Or I think it was on Kyra's page. If you get a chance, watch that. It was really good. It was about almost 20 minutes. In fact, I think I'm going to write a journal type post, and I'm going to share it, because since it's on her wall, it's shareable. I'm going to share it into my Enlightened Traveler group.
Good. I may do that for my Travel Like a Pro then, if it's that good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, she said she was going to try to do something like that so we could share it. So.
Yep, it's really good.
Okay, I'll go check that out. Okay, any last minute comments, questions, prayer requests, anything from the group, Davina?
No, I need to talk to you about a 3-way. I'm trying to schedule some 3-ways. And so I've got I think I've got 2 people committed. So I will get with you about 3-ways.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going through my Facebook, all my old messages, and I'm bugging them till I get a yes or a no.
Yes, that's the thing. Look,
you know, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I'm sharing that want to get away option that they gave us. And so, but I'm saying, okay, I'm not letting them get away with just, I'll watch the video. No, I need an hour of uninterrupted time to watch the video and do a 3-way call.
Yeah.
You know, and so
like I said, if they're resistant to the call part of it, or they're, do a chat.
Yeah, one lady, that's what she wants to do. She goes, I have anxiety on phone calls. And I'm like, fine, we'll do a chat. So
it's less intrusive for most of them. But if they're watching the video and they're right there, just text me a heads up at the time. And if I can't, we'll find somebody that's free. Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays are my really crazy days. But usually I have appointments on the hour, and then they don't usually last the whole hour. They last close. Okay. So I'm good.
Well, I'll message you after we get off here. So
awesome. Okay. Heather?
Davina? Oh,
yes.
sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead, Wendy.
Oh, I was just going to ask, Davina, are you just sending that picture to people in Messenger? Because I'm kind of like,
This is how I've been wording it. I've been reaching out, asking, looking for some of them, the ones that I've already contacted about the business. I'm like, hey, I've got this awesome, do you want to get away deal? Would you be available for me to share it with you? I'd love to hear if you're still, if you're interested, let me know. And most of them are coming back and saying, yeah, that sounds really good. And then that's when I'm hitting them up and saying, okay, do you have an hour of uninterrupted time where you can watch the video and then do a 3-way chat afterwards? And getting them to commit to that time, You know what I mean? And then
So
10
you're not
minutes.
sending the picture thing.
Yeah, I do. When I say I have a want to get away deal, I send them just a picture so because it has everything on there, so
Right,
I don't have to type it all out and everything. So yeah, I'm sending that picture.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and I've had really good feedback. I mean, some people have just come back and said no, and some of the people that I've talked to and haven't really talked about the travel business, but kind of hinted about it, I've just been saying that I'm looking for families who are interested in traveling. Would you happen to fall into that category? Yes or no?
Yeah.
And yeah, just being, but I'm looking for yeses or nos. And so I want to mark them off and get them out of my Facebook Messenger because I've got 5,000 Facebook messages and I can't find anything.
Tell me yes, tell me no, tell me fast, I gotta go. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. It's a numbers game. Heather, last minute quotes, comments, or requests?
No, we're good.
All right. Wendy?
I think I'm good right now. Brian said to let you know to put us on your list.
Put you all on that trip to Punta Cana?
Sam, yes.
Yeah.
He said if you're doing a group, because he's like, if not, then he wants to go on our own, but if you're going to do a group. Now, he did ask, he said, is your husband going to go? Because he doesn't want to be the only guy.
Yes, Jeff wants to go to all of these. And I asked her about a group. They don't have a villa like the one that Lavonda went to, so we won't actually be staying together, but we'll be
I
together.
would still just like to be there all together. I think it'd be a blast.
And Lavonda said they took them out like to a private island and they did a site inspection and things like that. So that's what I want. I mean, and the thing is, this resort is opening in September. It's brand new.
Wow.
So yeah, and that's one of the reasons they're offering all this. It's $58 per person per night.
Now, it's not all inclusive, is it?
It is all inclusive. That's what I just checked.
Holy crap!
Yeah, because I went to their website because that's what I was thinking. That's not all inclusive, and I went to look at it, and it's $362 per person per night.
Oh wow!
On the website. So that is definitely an all inclusive.
Wow.
So
Where is it again?
It's in Punta Cana.
Oh, where's that?
Pardon?
Where's
Caribbean.
that?
In the Dominican Republic.
Or it's in the Dominican Republic. Okay.
Ah.
Well, that's Caribbean, right?
It's still Caribbean, yeah. So it's still warm. It's got a warm ocean and a beach. That's really all I care about right now, especially in November.
I have to get my passport. Have y'all used the IntelliTravel passport option, or is it just better to do it outside of that?
The IntelliTravel passport option is created for people that waited to the last minute and are not worried about paying extra. Especially right now, that is not worth it. The passport office, when they opened back up 3 weeks ago, I think, had a 12-week backlog because that's how long they were closed. They said that they were go ahead and apply online, do the new stuff, but they're going to work their way through the old stuff first. And they estimated it would take them 12 weeks to catch up.
Okay.
So if you're thinking you want one, apply now. The faster, the better.
I'll do that today. And so y'all just keep me in my prayers that I'll get it done today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll get my passport.
Video about taking your own passport photo that looked really good.
I did?
There's a YouTube video about taking your own passport photo if you want to do that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that was an option. We have a CVS here, but
they have all these requirements about how big it is and that kind of thing. But I guess this YouTube tutorial walks you through taking it on your phone and making it fit those parameters.
Okay, I'll find it.
YouTube's my favorite. How do I? Anything in the world, hit search. How do I do anything in the world, hit search. I was there last night. How do I treat hives? Yeah. YouTube has the answer. Okay, Vicki, last minute quotes, comments, requests.
Request my neck. I've had a bad neck all week long, and it's like I've done a lot of sleeping and resting, and it's a pinched nerve, and it's like it's still numb. It's like it's tingly and numb, like right around here.
If that pinched nerve's been in there for a week, you're looking at possible damage. You need to go somewhere. Chiropractor, regular doctor, physical therapy, something. My husband, when he had his neck was different. It wasn't a pinched nerve. Well, I guess it kind of was. It was, his discs were squeezing the nerves, and he has no feeling in these 3 fingers on his most.
Back here, I've got like numbness.
Hello, Brian. Are you going to Dominican Republic with me?
She said, "Hello, Brian. Are you going to the Republic with
His
us?"
fingers always go and bite his fingers. He has no feeling in those. And they told
No, she said that Jeff's gonna go.
They
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
they told him that when the nerves get pinched, if it stays that way too long, it damages that nerve, and that may never come back. I mean, they give you Lyrica, they give you different things, but he said that's why they said you need to do surgery. You probably don't need surgery, but you may need an adjustment of some kind to let that nerve out.
I was searching for YouTube videos for neck exercises. I need to actually do them and not just watch them.
Well, and I would look at you might want to see a physical therapist first, because there might be some that would make it worse and some that would make it better. If you're trying to make sure that the nerve is released from whatever's pinching it, and I am not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV. But my thoughts on having a pinched nerve is it already out of where it's pinched and it's just sore and you need to exercise it, or is it still in there?
Yeah, I don't know.
If it's lasted a week, you need, prayers.
It was a week yesterday, I
I
think.
know, because I remember last week you were talking about it. That's
Yeah.
like, it's been a week. That's not no improvement at all.
Well, it's improved a little. Yeah, it improved a little. The last couple of days was better, but now today it's really been bothering me.
You may want, like I said, urgent care, and just say, can you do an ultrasound or an X-ray and see if there's, anything.
I know I won't do that.
Okay. All right. Well, then we're praying that it pops out all by itself.
Pray that it takes care of itself.
Miraculous healing.
It does really good at rubbing it.
That's good. Massage. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been putting some CBD cream on it. So.
Well, get together with, is Heather, you're not the Heather with the oils. It's the other Heather that does all the oils, right?
I like the oils, but I don't really do anything like
I
with
like
other people with them.
Try to use them, but yeah, this other chick is like, she'll give you a regimen to use for everything. Okay. Next week, I would say we'll finish the rest of the chapter. Go ahead and read it all. I don't know how far we'll get. Depends on if Ray's teaching or me. But we'll take care of it, and love you guys. And you can reach out anytime.
All right.
Thanks, Kat.
Bye.